Why do we do bonsai? Why do people grow bonsai? You can't do much with it except look at it. It's like a painting or a sculpture. You admire it for its beauty. But where bonsai is different from other art forms is that you are constantly involved with it. You've got to care for it. Unlike a painting or a sculpture, once it's done, it's done. A bonsai is forever growing. That is the fascinating thing about bonsai as an art form. It is never still.
There's no real definition. It just means a potted plant in Japanese, but it has a specific purpose, and that is, for me, it evokes an emotional response from the viewer. When you look at a bonsai, it should take you to a time and a place in your memories or your imagination.
Sort of the long-term aspect of bonsai is what I quite like, is having to think, 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or 30 years ahead. What kind of stuff do I need to do to the tree now to reach an end goal, 5 or 10 years down the line? If I do this to the tree now, how's it going to look once it actually comes to fruition, when I get it to the design that I want? So it's totally changed my perspective on life in general. But I like that aspect of bonsai, having to really plan everything out, think way in advance about how to actually build the final piece of art that kind of emerges from all of the techniques that we apply year after year.
Bonsai is all about trimming and shaping, but not just trimming and shaping in any old fashion. It has to be done in an artistic way. And of course, it's just a miniaturized version of a large tree. So if you see these big oak trees, we can recreate that on a small scale.
They can live as long or more as the full-size tree in nature. And usually they live longer because they're well cared for. A lot of people think that bonsai are mistreated and they don't get much water to keep them small and all that, but bonsai are probably the most spoiled trees on the planet. The owner takes the best care of them because you have to keep them super healthy because you're always pruning and working on them. If they're not super healthy, they just wither away and die.
Bonsai is something that anyone can do, but if you're going to be keeping that tree alive and thriving, you do have a bit of a learning curve. To simply keep a bonsai, it's not rocket science. You just need to provide the environment and the watering that the tree needs, and you can have a tree that stays healthy. 1 or 2 fairly simple techniques, and you'll maintain that tree quite well. It's about trying to help the tree to realise that in this ideal, albeit small environment that we've created for it, it doesn't need to be this giant thing in order to thrive. It can actually become this small, beautiful, efficient representation of a tree using bonsai techniques to really maximise how efficiently it can photosynthesize, how efficiently the roots can draw up water and nutrients.
My name's Phil Donnelly. I've been doing bonsai roughly 24, 25 years, give or take. I love going to shows and demonstrations and workshops. We are meeting other like-minded people and then sort of different artists from around the world, and they're coming in and teaching you things and you're just going, something unbelievable. Today we're in Cork. Rafa is over near a week. He's over for a week of workshops.
My name is Rafa. I'm from Mallorca, Spain. I started about maybe 11, 12 years. Now we do the first styling because now is very healthy, the tree, and now we can start to make the design.
Well, this is a Juniper Sabina that I got, I think 4 years ago, and now we're starting to do a wee bit of refinement work on it.
Like a meditation when you work and everything. It's not, but we need it for now. Okay, keep more foliage in this area.
Eventually that will come off at. I'm just having that bend.
It's possible, it's no bad, but we'll see if we need or not.
So I fancy this.
It's nice. You see here,
Yep.
go up
Yep.
and down and
And up.
up. It's no problem. Yeah.
Maybe looking from this end.
Yeah,
you see
only
that.
need.
There's even people who debate whether it's an art. They say it's just horticulture, but it's not. There's a lot of artistic choices you make in developing a tree. And then when you finally show the tree, there's even more. I mean, there's the presentation and everything. And I definitely say it's an art. It's just, it's an art that's never finished.
You have that now. 6 months down the line, that'll have totally changed. If you don't clip it, you'll have growth out to here. Has to be cut. It's constantly evolving. It's not art where it's just sitting in one piece. The only thing would stay the same would be your pots. They would age, but the tree's constantly evolving.
We're either typically trying to complement features within the tree with the pot or contrast those features. So, there are different ways to do that, shape, texture, and color, basically. So depending on the species that you're working with, let's just take like a Japanese black pine, for example. Japanese black pines tend to have kind of a grayish colored bark. So quite often they look nice in more of a gray color pot because it brings out the color of the bark. Sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it works quite well. In terms of the shape of the pot as well, if you have a tree with kind of sinuous, soft lines, quite often we'll choose a pot that has very soft edges to it, maybe a rectangular pot with like clipped or rounded corners, for example, to kind of mimic the lines within the tree. Or if you have a very feminine, soft tree, maybe you pick a really harsh rectangular pot with really sharp edges to contrast that. Sometimes that works as well.
I think the beauty or the value of a particular tree is reflected in the price. Why does a bonsai command so much money? 20, 30,000 is not uncommon, and more. Bonsai are like human beings. It's not sufficient just to be old. You can get an old man, if he's grumpy and nasty, is not nice. If you're old and nice, that is what counts in life. So bonsai is the same. Just having age to a tree doesn't make it a good bonsai. The tree has to be old and nice at the same time. Beauty is a very difficult thing to describe. A human being will respond to what is beautiful. I think something in your heart resonates with beauty.
For me, the real beauty comes out in a tree that has some kind of character to it, such as a feature branch, or maybe its character isn't in a single feature. Maybe it's the tree's elegance. Maybe, it's expressing like a smooth, very flowing, elegant, dainty presentation of a tree. It's about finding that character of what the particular tree has to offer and really emphasizing and maximizing it. I couldn't nail it down to one particular thing, such as a tree with strong taper or a tree that has huge age to it, although all those things can be really beautiful.
Working with bonsai, it makes you very, very aware of caring for other things and the likelihood that something is going to die, and it's an inevitability. It makes me think about the shortness of my own life and what I can accomplish in that, while also trying to produce something that's going to outlive me and hopefully be passed on to the next generation.
I know there's trees will not see the finished product. The big quince there, I'm working on that 21 years, and I reckon there's at least another 15, 20 years to have it looking where I have it in my head where I want it to be. Maybe longer. I'll maybe not see that.
It teaches you to be humble, that's for sure. Humility, I guess. You can have a tree that you've worked on for 15 years and then you come out the next day and you've basically lost your tree. And you're always trying to reach an unattainable dream of perfection.